Welcome to the Yale Grammatical Diversity Project for English in North America. The purpose of this video is to familiarize you with our database of microsyntactic variation in North American English. We can begin at the project's website found at microsyntax.sites.yale.edu. This site contains lots of information about the project. For example, we have a description involving our goals and the direction of the project, information about how to use the site, the members of the team involved in putting this together, as well as pages about the phenomena or constructions we have entered, and a link to the database itself, a way to get in touch with us, and relevant external links. So let's first look at the phenomenon page where we can find information about the constructions we have entered. So you can see here on the right a list of the constructions that at the point of this video are in the database. We are constantly adding more, so this list is bound to expand in the near future. You can see here an embedded map from our database of the examples we have entered so far. But also let's look at a specific phenomenon page. So for example, let's click on positive anymore. Here we can see a standard page. So we have a description of the phenomenon with some examples, information about who uses it, so generally geographically and sociolinguistically, some syntactic properties, and an embedded map containing just the data for that construction, as well as the references we used in putting the data together. This is interesting and good for browsing, and in fact we can find out a lot of information just from this. So for example, if I click on an example, a pin here, and we scroll down, you can see that on top we have the name of the phenomenon, as well as the example, when it was attested, and we would have some comments, the source, and information about the speaker. So in this case we just have the region being California. But there can also be more sociolinguistic information when that's relevant. This is great for browsing, but we can actually do more if we go directly to the database, which you can access at the database link. So you can see here some screenshots and information on how to use it, but now we'll go through and just look at it ourselves. One view of the database is as a table that we can see right now. This table, you should note, has more columns than you see initially, so you have to click right, and then more columns will appear. And also there are more entries than come up initially, so you have to click next to go through it. And a table is a great way to visualize the data sometimes. Sometimes a map will be preferable. So if we want to view it as a map, we can go to Visualize, Map, and we'll see all the examples put onto a Google map. Now let's try applying filters. So we can click Options, and then the filter option appears. And so first let's just filter down to one phenomenon. So I select where it starts out as example by default. I select phenomenon. I can keep equals, and then if we're looking for positive anymore, I'd type positive anymore. You can see that it auto-fills. Do note that if you keep typing yourself, it is case sensitive. I click Apply. Now only examples of positive anymore appear. And those same callouts that we saw before embedded on the site are still here. Another way to search for a phenomenon, if we clear filter, is by whether that phenomenon just has a yes or no value. So I'd scroll down to positive anymore, I could do, or let's go instead with negative inversion equals yes. Note the capital Y. I click Apply. And now we're seeing all examples that show negative inversion. One thing that we can see from negative inversion, if we zoom in more, is that there actually are clusters of examples that initially look like one example. So we can see here near the border of West Virginia and Virginia, there are several different examples all in one area. The reason this happened is you might have examples from one city, but we needed to randomize them all to different locations. Slightly different locations, so perhaps a different street but they're all within the same town. That's just to allow Google to map them at discrete points. So we can see that there's one of these clusters around New York. So if we wanted to just view those, we would add another condition, which is region, which roughly corresponds to state, equals New York, and apply. And now we see that only those examples that are in New York appear. Now we might want to go back to the table. So we go to Visualize and Table, and we can see examples from New York of negative inversion. Another interesting search we could do with negative inversion is to see whether any African American speakers use negative inversion without negative concord. Sometimes it's claimed that African American English only includes the negative inversion that also has negative concord. So the way we test this, we can remove the New York condition and add a condition of negative concord equals no, and ethnicity is African American. We apply this filter, and we do find a couple of examples. One you can see is starred, so this is actually an example of an unacceptable sentence. But we can see the example, don't many of them live around here, and it's against the law, and we click to expand it. So we get, it's against the law, that's why don't so many people do it. There are plenty of other types of searches we can do, and if you go under the Using This Site page, there's actually a glossary of all the different terms we've used to provide data about the different constructions. So you can use that to construct your own searches. Finally, you can download the results of your searches using the Google Fusion Tables interface. From the table, select File, Export, and then a CSV file will download. So this is similar to Excel except more generic. Also, to download map data compatible with Google Earth, under Visualize Map, you can select Export KML to download a KML file, which Google Earth can open. We hope you find the Yale Grammatical Diversity Project website informative and useful, and would welcome any feedback. Thank you for watching this video.